Boom Chanka, how's it going everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another edition of Monday Analysis for you. Oh, where do we begin on this one, lads and lasses? It's been a terrible weekend for Manchester United fans. I'm sure there's a bunch of football fans from other clubs that are looking to put a cheeky little dig in this video. Well, fair enough. I mean, what can we say? United are just absolutely bang average shite at the moment. What did we create in that game? Nothing. One of the sort of most toothless, lacking creativity performances I've seen in a very long time for Manchester United. And, compounded by the fact we've got more injury problems now. Things are not looking very good for Manchester United fans. That's all I'm going to say. But each and every one of you, I hope you drowned your sorrows well. I didn't have the chance in the end, actually. Couldn't have my 2 pints of vodka, which is what I was hoping to have after that bloody shambolic performance. So, there we have it. But let me know that I'm coming through loud and clear, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Chuck a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new here. But I can see there's a bunch of people already in here. So thank you to Clam J, Buster B, Griffo Chaz, Demas Marsico, Jack and Brad Gaming, Just Bring It, DJ Samuel, Demas. I've already mentioned you, but I'll say it again. Ian T. CB, all you guys that are tuning in live right now to this edition of Monday Analysis, thanks very much for stopping by on the live stream. We've got a lot to talk about. It's been a horrific weekend in the Premier League for a number of reasons. We'll get into them, all sorts of different games. Not just Manchester United losing 2-0 to West Ham, that was absolutely calamitous, but a couple of real stinkers that just hurt Manchester United in other games as well. So we'll get into all of that. We'll also get into some of the topics that I've put in the title here. United releasing a statement today from the spokesperson. We'll delve into that. I'll give you my thoughts and hear your thoughts. We've got Woodward, of course, versus Phil Jones. Don't know if you saw the clip, but we'll dive into that too. But let's just get all this Premier League nonsense out the way. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A lot of people are calling for Ole out at the moment. Is he the man to take Manchester United forward and progress us into that team that can actually get back up there in the top four and lo and behold maybe one day even challenge for the title again? Is he that man? Well, I'll tell you something. We don't bloody know yet. He's hardly had enough time to really do it. It's not like he's been given 350 million like Jose to be able to go out there and spend shitloads and bring whatever players he wants in. No, he's dealing with the mess of the previous managers. He's got rid of a couple. We didn't replace them. People were blaming Ole for that. I'm sure Ole wanted the players. It's just the fact that the Glazers and the Woodward, and the Woodwards, I was going to say, they're probably dicks too, but anyway, Woodward and the Glazers, they, of course, haven't got the personnel in the summer transfer window, which has caused Ole some problems. Look, Ole's tactics were absolutely gash-tastic yesterday. I can't defend the way United were playing. It's still his job to select the team. It's still his job to get the team playing a certain way, to motivate the team, to get the tactics right on the training ground and in the games. And he didn't do that in the game against West Ham. We got totally bullied in that first half, and second half wasn't much better, to be fair. West Ham with a better team throughout the entire game. If you're talking about defensive training, routines and all that sort of stuff, is that happening to a good enough standard at United? In the background, we've got Keane and Carragher, but they're great. But, are we doing the right things? Because if you look at that goal that we conceded, the first goal, some people say it was a well-worked move by West Ham, and it was, but there needed to be some sort of closing down, some sort of tenacity from the defenders in there to stop that from happening. There was nobody taking the runner, going with the runner, marking the runner. It was just basic defending. You're talking school ground basics here. Go with your man, stay goal side. Nobody did that, and that's why we conceded. Is the training behind the scenes, is the coaching to a good enough standard? Well, I don't know, but it's not translating out onto the pitch in any sort of fashion of good football. No, we've just got a steaming pile of freaking shite every single week, basically. And that game in particular was really bad, just in terms of creativity, lacking the bottle, lacking the character to get back into it. It was straight out the Louis van Gaal days. It really was. It was so slow and mundane. It was bloody boring. It melted my intelligence chip, that game. And very depressing game of football to watch, in fact, for a United fan. This is the situation United are in, because we're looking forward to good games of football. We're a far cry from the teams of old where you're just guaranteed to get quality entertainment. We don't really have that at United at the moment. It's like week to week, we don't really know what we're going to get. In fact, we're probably expecting a little bit shite football in terms of where we're at the moment. But look, everyone's jumping on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The point I wanted to make is, yeah, he's got it tactically wrong the other day. If you look at how we've approached games this season, I think he's done okay. I think he's done well in terms of getting us forward, playing decent direct football, pressing out the pitch, that sort of stuff in certain games. Now, it's not worked out for us. Maybe we could have put some penalties away in those key games earlier on in the Premier League campaign, and it would have given it a slightly different outlook. But the fact is we didn't. We didn't get the results in a few of those games, whether it be Crystal Palace or Southampton or Wolves. And it's cost us. It really, really has done. But the way we were playing at the start of the season compared to that game against West Ham, it was different. We were playing a much better style of football at the start of the season and in pre-season too. Now, I know pre-season means nothing, but obviously those are the tactics and the way in which he's trying to play. So you can sort of get something by what he's doing. But at the same time, we didn't do that yesterday. So there's no excuses, really. The players need to hold their hands up. Ollie needs to hold his hands up. The coaches, whatever it may be. We just got it totally wrong. And I know Ole Gunnar is not an experienced manager. That's the thing. What's he done? Won a Norwegian championship with Molde and got sacked by Cardiff City. It's not an absolutely glistening CV. But like I say it and I say it again, I know football's changed. Alex Ferguson needed time at the start of his Manchester United career. If he didn't get that time, maybe we wouldn't have had that successful. Well, we definitely wouldn't have had that successful period if he had have got the sack. I'm not saying Ole Gunnar is Sir Alex Ferguson. Nobody is. But all Sir Alex had done, he won the Cup Winners' Cup and the Scottish League with Aberdeen, which is actually an unbelievable achievement at the time as well. To dislodge the likes of Celtic and Rangers and that sort of thing, and win a European trophy with a side like Aberdeen. But I think he got sacked from St Mirren back in the day. You know, it's like only time will tell whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is cut out for the job, but he's at least got to get the time. There's that old expression: you've got to give him enough rope to hang themselves with. And if you know, I don't want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be a failure. Of course, I love him. He's a club legend. It would be a majestic if we could get our baby-faced assassin super sub of a player as the same sort of effect as a manager. But the fact is, you know, it's a results industry. He'll get a bit of time, I think. I hope the Glazers do back him in the January transfer window. I hope he's actually still here to be back to the January transfer window. He's obviously got to do enough to keep his job up until then, and I guess what that is getting this United side playing well. It's not just choosing the same old gash, because listen, I'll talk about Ole Gunnar's selection again in the West Ham game. It was just wrong. It was wrong. It's like he's clearly going to be used in the League Cup and Europa League and stuff like that to play these younger lads and develop them, which is great. But with the squad the way it is at the moment, with the lack of depth we've got in certain positions, it makes sense to maybe reward some of the performers in those games by allowing them to start in some of the Premier League games. Like, I think Angel Gomez would have done a much better job than Juan Mata in that game in hindsight. You know, it's easy to say that Mata's been selected and he's put in a poor performance, but in hindsight, Gomez would have done just as well, so we might as well play him. Fred looked good in the couple of appearances we saw before the West Ham game. When he came on against West Ham, he wasn't good. I mean, I can't say it any other way. But he'd earned a position in the team more than Nemanja Matic has, in my eyes. So I don't see why Ole Gunnar didn't select him. And then you've also got Ashley Clunge at left back. And yeah, he looked good in the Premier League game against Leicester the other week. But Rojo had a really outstanding game against Astana. I know it's only Astana, but surely we should be trying to reward the players that can maybe fight their way back into the team, because otherwise what's the point for them? What is the end goal? What's the target? Why try and absolutely put in a blistering performance in one game if it's not going to lead to a start in the team? And I think the team, the way it is at the moment, it's in a prime position for Ole Gunnar to experiment with some of these other players, to experiment with some of these youth players. They're not going to do any worse than Matic and McTominay did in midfield the other day. James Garner, if he comes in at 18, not played in the senior side, it's like, is he really going to do any worse? I don't think so. So you might as well try and be progressive, play the youth, obviously, on a go. We keep saying it, but it's true, and he doesn't seem to be doing it. He says it himself. He talks a good game, this lad, to be fair. And I don't want to get on Ollie because I love him, but oh my days, some of the stuff that he comes out with is a bit frustrating. Now, after the game yesterday, I think he actually said in the post-match interview that United are not far away and we just need time. And it's like, we're clearly miles away. So in terms of not far off, not being far off, I don't see that being the case. I think we're very far off indeed. 32 points behind City. That's how far we were off last season. And this season it's not looking much better. I mean, do you think that it could actually be terrible this season? We could finish mid-table, like 8th or 9th. Do you think that could realistically happen? Because I was talking about it with Henry in my video the other day and about whether he should keep a job if that happens, but it's obviously there's varying factors, how we're progressing. Is he playing the younger players? Are we improving? Is the style of football at least good, at least attacking, at least entertaining, at least we can see some sort of a light at the end. So there's lots of questions hanging over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I did just want to have a little bit of a talk about, tell you how I feel, because I think he needs a bit of time, to be fair. He's come in at I can't remember when he came in now. Was it February, March time? I've actually forgotten now, but Jose Mourinho had him there last year. after being given hundreds of millions, and it didn't work out for him. Ole Gunnar came in. He's not even had a year yet, has he? No, he's not. He's had like 6 months, right? I don't know. I forget when he actually came in now. I've got a memory like a sieve. But he's not had a long time to work his wonders. He just had to try and salvage our season last season, which didn't go to plan in the end. And he's also had to try and rebuild, which also hasn't gone to plan. Because although we've got good defenders in, and Wan-Bissaka's looking amazing and really happy with James, and Maguire will come good and all that sort of stuff, it's we didn't get the players in the key positions, and Alexis Sanchez and Lukaku and these guys. When you lose players of that quality and you don't replace them, you're inviting problems onto yourself. I mean, how good would have Lukaku been to have around the club in the last few games when Marcial's injured and Greenwood's got tonsillitis and Rashford's getting injured now and he's just not scoring in front of goal? I mean, Lukaku would have given us another option. He'd have probably scored a few goals in based on the chances that Rashford's had. It's easy to say that. Maybe he wouldn't have done. But it would have been nice to have him around. But not that I wanted him around, because I still don't think he was good enough and the right type of player for United and what Ollie's trying to do. But then we need to go out there and get somebody, don't we? To replace him, and that didn't happen. So look, Ollie needs a bit of time. He needs another transfer window, maybe even another transfer window after that. And then I think it's fair enough we could judge him after a season or two. That's my belief. People will say, oh, United are going to just keep dropping down. We're going to be the new Arsenal, all this sort of stuff. Well, I hate to tell you, we basically already are. We've had these managers, successful managers, come in, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, and they've given it a go, and they've done okay at times. Louis got us an FA Cup and then was sacked, and Jose got us Europa League trophy and Champions League qualification, and he did it okay, but then it all just went to pot again. So I don't think the manager is necessarily it is a problem at United, of course. We can't be playing that type of dreary football we were under Jose, but it's also just the fact that it comes down to having Woodward in charge and having the Glazers in charge. And I'm not going to go into it anymore because I hate bloody talking about those bastards. But, we do need to give them a bit of time. Right, let's see what you guys think about it. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in live right now today on this episode of Monday Analysis. You're a bunch of legends. Get in the comments section. And I'm just going to go through a bunch of your comments and see what you guys think, literally, about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being the manager at United for an extended period of time. Do you think he should be, or do you think he's just not shown enough in this time? That's what I want to know. So I'm going to jump into the comments now. Thanks to everybody who's getting in here. DJ Fergus, how you doing? He comments, with a big transition, we have to accept the lows as well as the highs. Ole has a long-term plan, I believe. Ole in. Respect to you, DJ Fergus. Basically how I feel as well. At least give him enough rope to hang himself with. At least give him enough time to fail. We haven't given him enough time yet. There's no point in writing him off right now. He is potentially a good manager. We've seen certain things from him. Look, recently it's not gone well. Selections have been poor. In-game management's been poor. There's not been enough from the side. But that happens with every single manager's teams at any point in history. Look at Alex Ferguson's sides. There were certain games where you were like, what is this bloody little Scotch goblin doing? But then the next week, we'd get it right. We'd learn something from it. We'd develop. We'd move on. We'd progress. We'd evolve. That is what happens as a football manager. You've got to learn from mistakes. He's made some mistakes. Now he's got to learn from them. Can he do that? Can he adapt? Can he get this side creating? We'll see in the next game. Of course, we've got Arsenal coming up off the back of a win at the weekend. What can I say? I mean, it's going to be a tough game for us, but Arsenal are a classic North London bottle job company, so hopefully they bottle it up when we play them. But, we could easily do that as well. Thank you very much for your comment, and DJ Fergus. James Arnold with a super chat. Thank you very much for getting in here. James, he comments, new ownership, new structure, Glazers out. Yeah, I mean, it would be fantastic if we could just click our fingers and get the Glazers out of this great football club, and then maybe it would actually be a great football club, because with them at the helm, it's not really happening. It's not going down the way we want, because they then, like I say, it's just a money maker for them. They're not truly trying to get this United side winning the title anytime soon. They're happy with a reasonable level of mediocrity, I think. Don't get me wrong, they want to be at the top, they want to be able to get in the Champions League, and they want to be able to get the highest sponsors and the biggest money into the club and all those sorts of things, which being in the Champions League does. But I don't think they really truly care about challenging for the title, because if they did, then I think they'd have spent a lot more in this summer, based on the fact that the players went out, and based on the fact we were so many points behind the likes of Liverpool and City, our big rivals. So they'd have done more. From a fan point of view, we wanted them to do more. Thank you very much for your super chat there, James Arnold. Much appreciated. I'm just going to get down to the chat, actually, so I can see at the bottom of the chat here, because it does make a lot more sense to do that. Just a super chat here from Tom Eskdale. Tom Eskdale, thank you very much for getting in here, pal. He comments, Ollie legend, I believe, Woodward get the wallet out. I'm liking this positivity so far on this chat. I thought it was going to be more Ollie out stuff, and I'm sure there's going to be some of that I'm going to read in a moment. But yeah, I mean, I think he does need time. It's not his fault. I think people can see that we've got a cancer at this football club. We've got a cancer, and it's just eating us from the inside out at the moment. We have Woodward and we've got the Glazers. Woodward's a yes man for the Glazers. He's not a football man. He's not a director of football. He's not able to actually really get quality players into the club and see transfer deals to a good enough standard, to a high enough level. And frequently enough, it seems, because if he was, then we'd have got more in. And if he was truly fighting for Manchester United's cause out there on the pitch, then he would have fought our corner a bit better with the Glazers and got more investment from the football club. But really what happened is, we spent 150 million on the face of it, but we actually recouped a lot by selling Lukaku, and we also got a fair bit of money off of our books by allowing players like Smalling and Alexis Sanchez to go out on loan and stuff like that. So it's like he's just a yes man. They're just milking money out the club. That's the way it is. It's just a complete business to them, unfortunately. But thank you very much for your super chat there, Tom. Much appreciated. Right, I'm down to the bottom. Thank you to everybody who's getting into this live chat and live stream today. I've got a lot more subjects and topics to talk about, but I'll just read a few more of your comments out and then we'll get into something else, because I just want to hear what you guys think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United and whether or not he needs time. Razza comments, Pep would do a better job than Ollie, though. Well, I mean, it's, he is one of the best managers of all time, and whatever club he's gone to, he's been successful. So, you like to think, but so was Jose Mourinho before that, pretty much. But obviously the style of football is totally different. I mean, I think Pep, with even the players we've got now, would have us playing good, really, interesting style of football, good football. But then again, it didn't happen overnight with him at Man City, and they spent a fortune. And I don't think our board are necessarily right now at this moment in time prepared to do that. But, it's easy to say that. Maybe it's true. Maybe you're right. Dark Horse comments, 1 point on average since he became a permanent manager. That's relegation form, pig, and you're still Ollie in. Well, look, he's not had time. He's had to deal with an absolute shower of shite of a squad, pal. And he's dealing with other managers' players and other managers' messes. So, yeah, I do kind of think that he deserves a bit more time at least. Like I say, he just needs a bit more time to fail. If he's going to fail, he needs the time to at least have the time in order to see if he's going to fail. That's what I'm saying. He's not had enough time. You can't sack a manager after 6 months in a job, after he's come in to try and salvage your season, after we've melted with one of the most experienced and successful managers of all time. If Jose can't make it work, if Van Gaal can't make it work, I was going to say Moyes, but just forget that, then, it is a really tough job. Of course it's a tough job. After Fergie left, we knew there'd always be a downturn. The club is not what it was. The squad is not what it was. It's a rebuild job. It's a transitional period for United. That is all true. And that was the case under Jose. That was the case under Van Gaal. Van Gaal and Jose and the Glazers, they failed to really have a successful transitional period. But Ole Gunnar, he's come in with the same job to try and get United back to where we should be, which is not easy in this modern day and age of football, where everything's just a little bit closer in terms of competition in the Premier League. And up there, you got all these sheikhs and oil barons and things like that owning clubs. And we've got some American investors who basically bought the club with debt money and are servicing that debt and taking money out for themselves. So it's a different situation for Ollie than a lot of managers. If he went into, I don't know, another top club, it would probably be easier for him because they might invest more in him. We haven't done that enough yet because of our poxy owners. That's all I'm saying. No, fair enough though. I mean, the form's shite. He's got to get the team performing out there on the pitch as well. It is a results industry at the end of the day, but he's not had that much time. That's what I'm saying, pal. But I also read a stat earlier, which was like, I think, in Jose Mourinho's, Jose Mourinho's time, or the last season that we were in the Premier League with Jose, basically about twice the amount of games Jose managed and got the same amount of losses as Ollie has in half the amount of games, which is really not a very good stat, is it? For Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Man United, and shows you maybe Jose wasn't doing such a terrible job at United. I mean, he voiced it himself in the window, that he was not happy with the lack of movement and signing a key centre-back and stuff like that the Glazers didn't give him the backing. He basically voiced that, and that was sort of the start of the downfall of Jose Mourinho at United. But that is kind of true. Look at his first season in there. I mean, he did a fantastic job to get us that Mickey Mouse treble, didn't he? But anyway, Moataz Metro comments Ferguson had 3 years without trophies, just saying. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When he first took over, it was a rebuild job too, and he was allowed that time to do it. And if he didn't win that FA Cup, then I don't think he would have continued on. I'm not sure if they would have given him that opportunity. So after a few years, he won that cup, and then obviously after that came a period of success for United. That could have easily been snuffed out with a sacking of Alex at the time. I'm not saying Ollie is that type of man, but come on. Right, guys, I'm just going to read out a statement that Manchester United made. I think it will interest you guys, but thank you very much to everybody who's tuning in. Just want to read a couple out, actually. Griffo Chaz says, Liverpool have rebuilt with the likes of Milner and Robertson, who didn't come from top teams. We need to start rebuilding with these players and get Champions League football. Start from the ground. Well said. I mean, we can't have quick fixes anymore. Sign expensive players on huge money, big names, and expect them to just come in and perform with their heart on the sleeve. I don't think it works like that in football these days. We need hungry young players with a point to prove. 100% Griffo. And Gungshi says, Ollie needed twice the number of players he got in the summer. The players that have gone haven't been replaced. Loving that, Gungshi. Fully agree. He didn't get replacements for those players. Just imagine if we didn't have Jadon Sancho and we had Bruno Fernandes like we were going to get, and maybe we had Declan Rice or, you know, I don't know, and we had Callum Wilson or whoever. It's like we'd have more options, we'd have more depth, we'd have a backup player for a striker, we'd have a decent centre mid who's creating in Bruno Fernandes, we'd have a really great young prospect of a winger in Sancho. It's easy to say that, and we'd have had to spend a huge amount of money, but we should have done. It's as simple as that. We absolutely should have done. Thank you very much for your comment there, Gungshi. Anyway, we'll get into this statement released by Manchester United spokesperson. So, this is what they said in quotes, and I'll just dissect it as we go along. I thought it was a matter of interest for you guys, and this was released today. Quotes, everyone at the club from the owners down is focused on competing for and winning trophies at the highest level. Let me just stop it right there, Man United spokesman, because I'm not so sure everybody at the club is focused on competing and winning trophies and that sort of thing at the highest level. Because if they were, we'd have spent a heck of a lot more money in the summer to try and close that gap on City and Liverpool, because even if we did spend 350 million in the window, which is crazy, but even if we did, this season, we'd have still been miles off them, because that's how far the gulf in quality and class is between those squads at the moment. Just look at the depth of City in the midfield. Look at the depth of them up front. We don't have calibre of players like that, and the number of players and the quality of the players like that. Spurs' midfield, I'll go over it again. Six centre mids they've got that would get into our midfield. When's that ever been the case? It would always be the other way round. That's how shite our midfield is. Just accept that. So I don't think we're really truly putting ourselves in the best position to go on and win trophies, because if we were, we'd have invested a lot more already. I know it's a rebuild job, but do we have to rebuild at the pace of a freaking tortoise here, man? So this is what they also goes on to say. To do that, we have invested heavily in the playing squad, and we'll continue to do so. I mean, they've invested a lot previously under previous managers. They haven't really done it for a couple of years. Spending 150 million in the window. I've already gone over this. Like, they recouped the Lukaku money. They got Sanchez and Smalling off the books. They could have spent a bit more. Effectively, they spent 80 million. That's not good enough when the gap was 32 points. Chatting shit on this freaking post, aren't they, lads and lasses? Okay. At the same time, the exciting pool of talent coming through our youth academy and sections is a result of increased investment in this area over the last 5 years. Well, how much investment went into it then? Because, you know, like, we used to produce better young talents, class of 1992. That was freaking 30 years ago, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So it hasn't come on very well since then, has it? But still, recently we have seen some good young players coming through, but they haven't really broke into the side and been a standout. But it's not like we've got a Scholesy just popping in there and doing the business for us. So, I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, it's important to note that while our successful commercial operation helps drive that investment, the priority is to focus on achieving success on the pitch. What a load of absolute bollocks. All they care about is branding. All they care about is selling Manchester United's name off to make a few extra bucks, a few extra shekels to pay their freaking shareholders and suck it out and pay themselves, basically. That's what's going on here. Of course, they're operating in United just simply as a business, creaming everything from the top. Oh, it winds me up. Similarly, it is worth noting that we are not looking at or buying players based on their commercial appeal. Well, fair enough. That does seem to be happening recently. It does seem to be the way forward as well. Doesn't help to just go out there and sign a huge name player in a short-term fixed type deal on huge money. So I think that's fair enough. And they do seem to be trying to do that, but just not enough. We agree that recruitment is critical. We are committed to getting this right, and there have been huge investment in this area to put our recruitment department into a position to be able to deliver the manager the players he wants. Are you taking the piss now? Because OLE wouldn't have just wanted Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James in the summer transfer window with Sanchez, Lukaku going out the other way. He wouldn't have just wanted them. What a load of crock that is. So that's bollocks. This process is significantly more effective than 4 or 5 years ago. Well, fair enough. Well, times change. Nice to know that you're 5 years behind the fucking movement then. You know what I mean? And you know, all these clubs like City are developing their youth recruitment and their scouting network and all that sort of stuff. It's fantastic. And, you know, and United's has got worse, effectively. So I think it's a load of tosh. It's a load of bollocks that the spokesman's chatting here. Of course, that's what Man United want us to think, that they're investing heavily in the side and it's all part of a greater plan and everything. It's just, they just want to tick it over and service the debt and make the money on top. That's what's happening. So I just wanted to read it because I thought it's a bit of tosh. Sure, there's some truth in it, but at the same time, most of what they just said is tosh. Gungers says, it's not like they can't afford it. The money is there to bring twice as many players in. That's the thing. We're commercially a huge football club. We make hundreds of millions of pounds a year. We're a commercial brand, a global entity. We're supported by hundreds of millions of fans all around the world. So why the hell are we not giving the fans what they deserve, which is investment in the club and trying to get this team actually performing properly out there on the pitch? Gash-tastic galore at United it is. The owners are a disgrace. Woodward's a disgrace. It's a freaking disgrace at United at the moment. It is. Oh, guys, right. So what do you guys think about the statement from United there, or from Man United's spokesperson? Atrex789 says, there's no one to help nurture these young talents. Class of 92 had Keane, Cantona, etc. Yeah, plus, you know, we had coaches who were obviously pivotal in the development of the young players that just are not around anymore, unfortunately. So that is definitely true. But anyway, let's get on to the next topic. Just I'll read a super chat here from Alex Rudd. Thank you very much. Good to see you in here. Ruddy comments, you have to get better in increments like Liverpool. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we can't expect to have it overnight. I do believe that's true, Alex. We need to invest properly in good, younger, hungrier players and not these overpaid, overhyped prima donna players that might be great, but also it's more of a gamble. We need to do it the right way. That's why I've been championing players like Sancho, players like Maddison, because they're more realistic signings than going out there and signing the top players, and we don't have the Champions League football to offer them. It makes sense to try and look for different types of players, younger players who are perhaps from lesser teams who would like to step up and play for United. So I fully agree with that. You can't argue with what Liverpool have done over the last few years in terms of the way that they've recruited and the way that they have developed, and they have incrementally improved. So that's 100% true, Alex. It took them a long ass time though, and still they haven't won that Premier League trophy. I mean, Arsenal are shit, United are shit. Well, at least we won the Premier League trophy a bunch of times. You know what I mean, brother? Unfortunately for them, they haven't. Oh, by the way, that just segues me into the next topic, which I just want to talk about, which you may have seen it on the Sky Sports yesterday. Roy Keane, Souness, Jose Mourinho, Jamie Carragher, post-match analysis, Manchester United versus West Ham, or Liverpool it was, sorry, actually, Chelsea. And anyway, they're talking, and Jamie Carragher's basically chatting some shite, saying, well, sometimes, you're only one player away from getting from, like, 6th to 7th to, like, challenging for the title and being up from 6th to, 2nd or whatever. And he said that when they got Luis Suarez in at Liverpool, that was just one player, but it changed them, and they finished second, they almost won the title. And Roy Keane just absolutely freaking ruined him, lads and lasses, and was like, yeah, but you didn't win the title, though. Do you know what I mean? Basically, which is a great point. It's like, you're one player away. You're obviously not one player away from challenging. You didn't win the bloody title. What's the point of that? Anyway, I just wanted to just talk about that a little bit, see what you guys thought, because I thought it was hilarious. Roy Keane is a bit of a sinister individual. I wouldn't like him staring at me the way he was staring at Jamie Carragher. Jamie Carragher, you could see he shriveled up. He did the old Marcus Rashford in front of Fabianski routine, and he shriveled up to the size of raisins. And and Jamie Carragher, he didn't look too happy, but it was funny as. Anyway, I thought that was funny as. Right, okay, let's talk about let's just talk about the injury problems that United are now facing, with Marcus Rashford being injured against West Ham, coming off the pitch, Jesse Lingard coming on for him, not a recognised striker on the bench or indeed in the squad. Absolute mess of a situation there, whether it's created by OLE, whether it's created by the Glazers and Woodward by not getting the strikers in, whatever it may be, it's a mess. And now we've got a young 17-year-old lad with tonsillitis, recovering from tonsillitis, coming in to be our main striker now because Rashford's out. I'm not sure on the injury situation with Anthony Martial, how long he's going to be out for, but we desperately need him back. Not just because Rashford has been absolutely gashford in the last few games in front of goal and not looked good, but obviously he's injured now, so we do need Martial coming back because he's our main man up there now. He's our main man. We don't have Sanchez and Lukaku there to deputise. We've got Greenwood to deputise, who's 17. But personally, if Martial's not fit, I would rather see Greenwood start, obviously. I think he's going to have to start now with Rashford being injured. But I don't want to see shit in Lingard or somebody playing up there. We should have planned that game a bit better. We didn't plan that well enough. If there was any sort of injury problem to a key player, we were screwed. And it's a sad day when you've got Jesse Lingard coming off the pinch for Rashford to play up top there. Disgraceful. It's also a sad day when you've got Ashley Clunge captain in the side. You know your shit when a 33, 34-year-old bloody Ashley Clunge is captaining your team in a big game like the West Ham game. Not to say that he's not a decent player. He's good enough for a backup still at United. He is. But to be our captain, that shows you the sort of level we're at. It shows you the quality we've got in our side. I mean, I think Harry Maguire will be a future captain of United, hopefully, but I mean, we still haven't seen a lot from him really in United shirt. I still think him and Lindelof should have done a lot better for that first goal yesterday in terms of going with their runners and closing them down, and Ashley Young let a man go as well. So it was just piss poor all round. But we do need players now to step up because injury problems have hurt us. Pogba's still out. Look, people keep talking about this Pogba agenda I've got. I want him to come into the side and put in a good performance, blatantly. Of course I do. That's what I want to see. I just don't think he's cut out in that midfield role that he's been playing because he doesn't seem to have the tenacity and the true effort that a player needs in that position to really buzz around and be tenacious and win the ball back and create from that position. I think he is a great creator, there's no doubt in that, but he should be further up the pitch, and it convinces me with Juan Mata starting the game yesterday and looking so ineffective that maybe it is time to give Pogba that opportunity in behind the striker and see what he can do there. But if he gets that opportunity, he's going to have to take it and stop this dilly-dallying and fannying around, this hoity-toity namby-pamby nonsense that he does on the ball. He gets on the ball and he gives it away. He meanders on it more often than not. Maybe that's because he just feels he's got more space in the middle where he's playing. Maybe if he's up top there, he'd be looking to play those quick one-touch passes, little 1-2s, triangles, create, open the defence. That's what we want. So look, I think Paul Pogba's not very good for United, but he's better than the wank we've got at the moment. That's a fact of the matter. Fred was absolutely gash in the other game, but I do want to see a bit more from him. Injury problems, and will we see? I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's gashed too. We haven't really seen a lot from him over his United career. Hate to say it, he's not had the opportunities. He's not had a great run in the side. That's all fair and true. But in the performance he came on yesterday, and the team was struggling, and the tactics were wrong, and it was awful. So you've got to just, take it with a pinch of salt, but he didn't look good. So we've got to make some changes at the club. We've got to start playing players like Angel Gomez. We've got to, even Chong. I know he had a shit game when he played the other day against Astana, but he's looked good in other games. Give him a chance. He's only young. It's not going to go any worse than Juan Mata's performance. It's not going to go any worse than Rashford's performance against West Ham, or indeed Matic's. How is it going to go any worse than those guys? So that's what Ollie needs to do. Put the faith in the youth. What do you guys think about it? Atrex says Fred looks gash, but he's miles ahead of Matic. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, we've got just gash for gash, isn't it? We can't swap out quality for gash. We're swapping gash for gash. That is what it is at the moment. I'd like to see James Garner thrown in there. Yeah, sure, he's only 18. Can he step up? Who knows? Scholesy and players like that were good. Just being able to pass and tick things over at a young age. Why couldn't he? Physically he may not be there yet, but I mean, come on. I mean, it couldn't be much worse than an aging Matic who's looking increasingly worse over time. RB comments, Matic looks like he's running in cement. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much because he is. He's like he lives in a tomb, that man. And when he gets out, when the electricity has pumped up his jacksie, he wakes up, but he's still got a little bit of the old concrete left on the bottom of his feet. And he moves like an absolute monster. It's terrible, I know. Right, okay, let's just get into the rest of the Premier League side zone, because obviously Monday analysis, it is traditionally about just, the Premier League, not just United. United are shite. We've drawn a line under how shite United are right now in this video. We'll probably delve into it a bit when we go back to the comments. But United are shite at the moment. We need to improve. Ole's got to get us playing better football with the tools at his disposal, even though the tools at his disposal are absolutely wank. That's just the way it is. He's got to do better with the players that we've got. And the players have got to do better, and the Glazers and the owners have to do better in terms of investment and improving us in January. We've drawn a line under that. Let's get into the rest of the Premier League fixtures at the weekend then, because I just want to give a quick rundown of what's happened and my thoughts on it and where we are in the table and all that sort of stuff. So, obviously, United having theirs, but yesterday, Crystal Palace and Wolves played out a 1-1 draw. Who really gives a shit about that one? West Ham, they beat Manchester United 2-0. Arsenal beat Aston Villa 3-2, but from what I haven't actually seen the highlights or even seen anything of the game, but from what I hear, they were gash-tastic, defensively awful, but they've just got Aubameyang who saves them, and they did a good enough job to come back into it. Is that fair enough, Alex Rudd? I don't know, let me know. And then, of course, the big fixture in the afternoon, Liverpool beating Chelsea 2-1. Sort of ugly, scrappy performance from them. Got the job done away from home at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea not what they were, of course, but still, it's a very good result for Liverpool, and the Scouse train just keeps on rolling on. And sometimes you just got to take your hat off and say they're just a really good team at the moment, and Klopp's a great manager, he's got them playing great football, they've got a great squad. It's freaking sickening, but it's true. And, with City doing what they've done at the start of this campaign, it's looking more likely that maybe it could be Liverpool's year. Look, we're 6 games in, there's a lot left to go. Liverpool are going to bottle it at some point, but will City bottle it some more this season? Because they've already started this campaign a little bit ropier than usual, even though at the weekend they did a smash job of Watford and they won 8-0. So going back to the Saturday fixtures, Man City smashed Watford 8-0. I mean, come on. I mean, we beat Astana 1-0 on Thursday night in the Europa League. FC Astana of Kazakhstan, the third best team in Kazakhstan in the Kazakhstani league, with a bunch of milkmen playing in their team. And City go to Watford, a decent Premier League team who over the last season or so have actually looked good. And not this year, but have actually looked good and battered them 8-0, lads and lasses. So, that's a statement from City after losing to Norwich City 3-2 in a crazy game. But after that, 8-0. I mean, that's a statement. That's a statement, not, what we've done, which is just managed to get a win against Leicester after perhaps being very lucky to do that. And then playing Astana and just beating a bunch of Kazakhstani farmers 1-0. And then losing to West Ham 2-0 and looking second best in every single freaking department out there on the pitch to West Ham as well. West Ham! Now, West Ham are, decent. I think they're in the top 4 now, aren't they? I mean, let's just go through the rest of the fixtures and then we'll look at the table. So Burnley beat Norwich City 2-0, so that's a great result for Burnley, obviously, because Norwich have looked really good recently, maybe just overexerted themselves a little bit recently in the games against City. Fantastic result for them, but away at Burnley, Norwich are not really expected to get the result there anyway. Now, one of the biggest upsets of the round is Sheffield United, and just how amazing they're looking this Premier League campaign. They've come up there, they spent a bit invested, but not in big name players really, and they've done an amazing job of starting this Premier League campaign so well. They're right up there, and they beat Everton 2-0 away from home. Everton are looking gash, but Sheffield United 2-0, man. I mean, what a result that is. Come on, the Blades. Man City, we've already gone through that, 8-0, yeah. And Newcastle and Brighton played out a drab 0-0 affair. So those are the fixtures that happened in the Premier League. Those are the results that happened. Let's take a look at the Premier League table then, just to see how shite it's looking for United. I'm sure you guys all know about this, but I want to just have a look at it. So Watford are dead last at the moment. They've lost 3 and drawn 2 out the first 5, over the last 5 games. Played 6. It's absolutely gash-tastic. They have a goal difference of -14 now as well, because City drubbed them. 6 games to have a goal difference of -14. That is absolutely freaking gash-tastic. Wolves and Villa, the two Midlands clubs there, they're making up the rest of the relegation zone. But we don't really care about the rest of it. It's all about the top 8, lads and lasses. It's all about the top 8. But we just mentioned Chelsea, who are in 11th place with 8 points at the moment. Same amount of points as United and Spurs. What really annoys me is that Spurs lost 2-1 to Leicester. I didn't mention that either, did they? Spurs lost 2-1 to Leicester, and we didn't freaking capitalise in the game against West Ham and get above them. And now Henry Hotspur on Wednesday during the Pig and Hen show is going to be a complete twat. And and that's just the way it is. So that's very annoying. But anyway, the top 8, let's talk about the top 8. So it's actually, we might as well say the top 12, because there's 6 teams that are on 8 points. And those 6 teams are Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Sheffield United, Burnley, Man United and Tottenham. So that's how shite Chelsea, Man United and Tottenham are doing at the moment. We're all on the same points as Sheffield United and Burnley and Crystal Palace. I mean, what a pile of wank that is, lads and lasses. It's a shocking Premier League table at the moment. Our form is drab. We've got to do something about that. I mean, equally, we're only actually 3 points. We're only 3 points off of 4th place. Arsenal currently occupy 4th. West Ham, I said, I think they're in the top 4. They're not. They're actually 5th, but they're on the same points as Arsenal. And Leicester are 3rd. Great job they're doing. So we're only actually 3 points off of Leicester, Arsenal and West Ham to challenge for the top 4 at the moment. We're not huge amount of points away, but we are a huge amount away in terms of where it's looking likely that they're going to be coming from. That's what the problem is. Where are these freaking points going to be coming from? We've got Arsenal coming up. It's a tough game, that one, right now, with the confidence low like it is, and the skeleton squad we've got. You know, it's looking very, very ropey indeed. That's all I'm going to say. Right, yeah, but I mean, you know, some of the players that I would like to see come in, you know, Maddison's one of those. I think he stood out at the weekend again, got himself a goal in that Leicester game against Spurs, and I would like to see him come into the club when we can in January, get the job done. We've got a super chat here from Gungshi. Thank you very much, Gungshi, for showing your support on the channel. Much appreciated, lad. I'll read your comment out now. He comments, I want to see... Oh, 2 seconds. He wants to see OLE getting the players he wants in January and in the summer. Bruno Fernandes and Jadon Sancho. Not to mention a replacement for Frankenstein's monster would make a big difference. Absolutely, Gungshi. Thank you very much for your super chat. I fully agree. Like, Matic is just done at United. We should try and look to move him on as soon as possible to any muggy team that will actually take him. Because he's just not good enough for United. Over like 10 or 15 games now, we've seen awful gastastic performances from him. I'm done with that Frankenstein. Then we've got Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, you know, James Maddison's a player I talked about in this video. Those sorts of players would be great. Sancho, young, hungry, flying winger down the right, creates scores. 19, doing the business over in the Bundesliga. Player of the month many times. Great player, great young talent. Get him signed up for Pete's sake. Absolutely. And then Bruno Fernandes would be nice. I'd like to see that. You're talking about a goal-scoring midfielder, a creator who's done it over in the Portuguese league. Fantastic. Would love to see him. If not him, James Maddison. So look, we've got options. The Glazers just need to back Ole in the transfer window. Then at the end of the season, or even in this time next year, we can judge Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on how his signings have done. He's still dealing with other shite and deadwood at the club that we've got to get rid of and that we have been getting rid of, but we've still got to get rid of a lot of shite that's around. Thank you very much, Gungshi. Much appreciated for your super chat there, mate. Right, guys, I mean, I'm going to just dive into the comments now, so get your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, in the live chat. I'm going to read a bunch of them out now, and then we'll wrap this video up in 5 minutes or so. I can't believe I've been talking for 43 minutes. I've not looked at the timer today. I do have this ability to just waffle on, don't I? I thought I was talking for about 20 minutes there. That is mad. Anyway, 43 minutes gone on Monday Analysis. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in for the live show right now. Do us a favour, smash a cheeky little like on it. Go on! Make me feel a little bit better, because United are really depressing me right now. So please chuck a like on this video. Subscribe if you happen to have stumbled across this show. This is the Monday Analysis show on Flying Pig United, a football Manchester United channel where we discuss all things United and all things football. And of course on Monday Analysis, it's really just dissecting United's performance after the dust settled, has settled a little bit over the weekend. Getting into United's performances, getting into the situation, but also discussing the Premier League and the other teams' plights as well, because it all means something to us, doesn't it? All us football fans. Anyway, thank you to everybody who's tuning in. So please do that. And of course, as you can see, my social media is up there if you would like to subscribe or follow me on those platforms rather. Belu Pilem comments, buy Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling in January. I mean, if we had unlimited funds and that would possibly, it was even in the realms of possibility, then I'd say yes. But it's just never going to happen, though. Kevin De Bruyne, what a player. I'd cut my right arm off for him right now. And Sterling, I mean, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'd probably cut my left arm off for him right now. Because he's actually turned into a heck of a player. So, yeah, I mean, fair play, I mean, wishful thinking, but realistically, we shouldn't be going for any of these types of players right now anyway, because it's not worked out for us historically in the last few years. We need a different approach, good young players, new vision, look to build for the future. Let's look to build and try and be successful in 3 years, not 3 months. You know, that's the sad situation. United are in a period of turmoil at the moment. We're going to have to deal with that. It's going to happen for a while. Get used to it. We are going to have these terrible losses against West Ham and shite performances here and there. Get used to it. It's a rebuilding period. We can't expect to close that gap when we're not fully invested in the team. Ollie's going to have to rebuild. He's going to have to bring the youth players through. He's going to have to sign good, hungry, younger players and build for the next few years. There you go. Thank you very much for your comment. Right, I'm going to read a bunch out and then we'll wrap this one up. Griffo Chaz says, Pig, what ticket package did you get for the evening with Ryan Giggs? I don't actually know. They basically given me a complimentary ticket because, you know, I said I'd promote it and stuff on my channel. And everybody who's still not entered the Ryan Giggs ticket giveaway for an evening with Ryan Giggs, you can get a ticket. Or do you mean for the giveaway, Chaz? I'm guessing it's just the basic one. I don't know. But yeah, for the giveaway, please search Ryan Giggs, an evening with Ryan Giggs giveaway on my channel, and you can still enter. There's a few days left. I think we're going to, was actually a week left or so. We're going to stop it on the end of September, and then we'll pick a winner who receives 2 tickets to the evening Ryan Giggsy. So do that, check that out. Thank you, Griffo, for reminding me there. Gungshi comments, De Bruyne and Sterling, get Son and Eriksen while we're at it. The hen would implode. Oh, I tell you what. Now you're talking about players. Son, he's really is just one of my favourite players in the league. Just the way that he goes about it, the tenacity, the quality, the skill. I hate that he plays for Spurs. He's such a United player. You know, he really is. He's the type of player that when Sir Alex Ferguson was manager, he'd have signed him up from Spurs, and we would have actually been able to do that because it was easy to sign Spurs players back in the day because United were just a much bigger club. We always used to pinch Carragher, Berbatov, whoever. So, yes, I think that would absolutely do us the world of good. Eriksen's another great creator, but they're just not players that we can realistically get at the moment. I mean, would they want to come to United without Champions League football with the turmoil we're currently in? I mean, they're in a better settled situation at the moment. I know Spurs are shite and they're on 8 points too at the moment. They're not doing a good job, but they still have a lot better squad than United, and their manager's more experienced. And you know, they got to the Champions League final last year, and they got Champions League qualification, and it's a long season to go, and they probably will do the same again this year. So there you go. Comment here from L United. He says, when you have humans who look like footballers, other big clubs, when you have humans who are footballers. Okay then, interesting way that you've worded that, but I see what you're saying. We've got a bunch of players that are pretenders is what you're saying. We don't have the actual quality, the proper footballers in the side. And we are lacking big time. I mean, that game yesterday, I'm trying to look at examples of who led by character, led by example out there. And there's a couple. I mean, Daniel James had a really good couple of positive runs and got in behind and trying to create stuff on his own. And, you know, but it's still a quiet game. But, I mean, he tried. He's only 21. He's coming in from Swansea. How are we supposed to expect him to be the match winner for us? I mean, other than that, I don't really see anybody taking the game by the scruff of the neck. Of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he was amazing. He was immense. He always is. He's quality. But he's a right back. He can't influence the game so much from that position. We need people to step up with a bit more bottle and a bit more tenacity in there, don't we? Man United Football comments, Ollie in all the way, Edward out, you clowns. Yeah, anybody saying Ollie out? I mean, I agree. I think Ollie needs the time, and we love Ollie. We want to see him do well. The only way we're going to see that is to give him time, and it's an experiment at the moment, but we've got to evolve and progress. He hasn't had hardly any time. What's he had? 6, 7? I mean, come on, he's had no time at all. Give the man some money. Give the man a lot of money. Let him have a stamp on this United side. Then you can judge him. Give him a year, at least. Give him money in January, then give him a year. If we're no better off by next January, then fair enough. But if he is playing the youth, if we are starting to play better football, then there you go. Fact is, he's come in. We've been playing that same type of dreary football for years under Mourinho. We've still got some of the same players around. And the characters in the squad are lacking. We've not got enough characters in the squad. It's all true, the same things that were true previously. We've added a couple. We've added a couple of characters, but we've also lost some quality players in Herrera. We lost some character in Herrera for sure in the centre of the park. I mean, that was probably our worst decision in the summer, was allowing Ander Herrera to go. Now, I know he's gone over to PSG on big money, and actually for him, from an individual point of view, to contend in a league that you can win and will win, and contend in the European competition, the Premier competition, that's a big pull, and plus PSG will pay him well. But the fact is, if United weren't in a better position, or we didn't mess up so much with our wage structure by having Sanchez there and stuff, we should have done more to keep hold of Ander Herrera, because especially if you look back now, he was a big player for us in that midfield. He wasn't a Scholesy, he wasn't a Keane, don't get me wrong, but he was a really good player for us in that midfield, better than the shite we've got around at the moment. So we've missed him. We didn't replace him, we didn't replace Lukaku and Sanchez. I mean, what do we expect? He needs time. Andre VC comments, Liverpool 18 points, Man United 8 points. LOL. Fair enough. Well, look, I can't deny the fact that it's a ridiculous amount of points to be ahead of United already after 6 games. After 6 games, we're 10 points behind Liverpool. That is disgusting. But Liverpool have hit the ground running this season. They've won every single game. They're a much further ahead team than United are right now. That's just a fact. Hate to say it, but it's true. The Scousers are loving it at the moment. They've got a very, very good side with a good manager and a good mentality, and they're playing good football, and they're just good. They're really good. Finally, it looks like maybe the happy days are back at Liverpool for their fans, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that United are 10 points behind them already, but that goes to show you how far we are behind. What did we finish last year? 31, 32 points behind Liverpool and City? We can't expect to close the gap when all we've done is lose quality players and not strengthen. We can't expect to really, that gap over the course of the season, it'll probably finish about the same. We'll probably still be 32 points behind Liverpool or City come the end of the year. If that's anything to go by, 10 points behind Liverpool already after 6 points gone, we'll be 50 points behind them come the end of the year. So look, it's a disgrace, lads. Alex Rinconator, how you doing, mate? He comments, have to give Ollie the time and the financial backing to sign the players. We need to try and sign Bruno Fernandes, James Maddison and Sancho in the summer. Fair play, man. I mean, Bruno Fernandes would be a great signing. James Maddison, great signing. One of those would do the job for me and then a replacement for Matic. But yeah, I hear you. Definitely that'd be amazing. And Sancho, if we could pull that off, that'd be great. My concern is we need to get somebody in January. Few players in January. At least 1 or 2 quality players to help our first team. Because look at our midfield, it's too poor. We need a couple of midfielders in January. Will teams want to sell in January? Absolutely not. Are we realistically going to lure James Maddison away from Leicester if they're in a better position than us at the time as well? And if they're looking like they might have Champions League football? Because I know, look, Leicester are a good team. We beat them the other day, but they're still 3rd in the league at the moment. I don't expect them to really creep into that top 4, but I do expect them to finish top 7 and challenge us for a position this year. So, it's like, is he really going to come to United in January, or would he want to stay until the end of the season? Probably want to stay until the end of the season, and Leicester will definitely want him to stay. So it's like we're not really realistically going to sign him. So I hear what you're saying. In the summer, it probably makes a lot more sense, to be fair. Rincon says, if we need someone for January, we should try to buy Christian Eriksen. Good shout. I mean, he's not got long left on his contract, I don't think. I mean, United, if we could get Christian Eriksen, that would be an absolute coup for us. And that would hurt Spurs. Not as much as it would hurt another team because they have got all that depth in midfield, but it would hurt them because he's a quality player. But is it more realistic that Eriksen goes to a Champions League team right now and maybe gets paid the same amount of money but does challenge for things and does win domestic trophies for the next couple of years? I don't know. Gungshi comments, I agree with you, Rinconator. We should have actually got midfielders in already. Absolutely. All the business should have been done in the summer. We shouldn't be in this situation where we're 4 key players away from having a decent first team. That is what we are. We're lacking that central defensive mid. We're lacking that creative midfielder. We're lacking that winger. We're lacking a striker. 4 players away. Should have been addressed in the summer, and it wasn't, lads and lasses. It absolutely wasn't. Ian T comments, we need a box-to-box midfielder as number 1 priority. Yeah. I think that is quite key. Somebody who can do a good job, also able to create but defend in that sort of Matic role. 100% that's what we need. Somebody like Michael Carrick would be fantastic right now, just to tick things over. He absolutely would be. Just sign yourself up again, Carrick. You can still do a job, lad. Comment here from Raf Roney. Does Jones really said Ollie sacked in the morning? Oh, crikey. I see. Here we go. We've got onto it. I actually forgot to talk about it. I wanted to talk about this because it happened yesterday during the game. There's a camera that pans over to Ed Woodward and Phil Jones and Lee Grant. A few other lads are sitting there. And the camera pans, or the camera's on them, and you can see after the second goal goes in, I think, Phil Jones utters something, and the lip readers have said, and it does look like he says, he just goes, getting sacked in the morning, getting sacked in the morning, right? That's what it looks like he says, and then Ed Woodward turns around and slaps at him and says, we're on camera, stop. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly what it looks like to me. Now, I'm no lip reading expert. Maybe sometimes if you look at lips and somebody's put the words there for you, it can make it look like it. But at the same time, that's pretty much what happened. So for a start, Phil No Bones Jones He's probably a bit bitter at not being in the mix at all. And when he's given that opportunity against Astana, he's one of the most experienced players in this team. And he melted at a couple of occasions during that game and made some silly errors a la Phil Jones. That's what you get from Phil. But he's on the bench there and he's just going to get sacked in the morning, hurt. It's like, you're a twat then, aren't you, Phil? If you're really saying that about your manager, about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at this stage, you're a twat, mate. Even if you're just having a bit of a laugh, you're a twat, pal. So he said that, but it's not, he's not anywhere near the first team, so he's obviously probably not too happy at the moment in terms of the game time that he's getting. But rightfully so, because he's gash. He needs to be moved on anyway from United. Now, Ed Woodward turns around and says, "Stop it, we're on camera." It's like, it's just what is going on at this football club right now. It's like we've got a bunch of naughty schoolboys being led by naughty schoolboys. That's what's going on. We ain't got a bloody clue, this team. So it's a problem. If that is what Phil Jones said, then it's an absolute disgrace. That's all I'm going to say. He needs to watch himself, and Ed Wood was right to give him an ear bashing and tell him that he shouldn't be saying that shite while he's on camera. But it was sort of funny to see Woodward react like that, because he wasn't happy. And I think he actually banished Phil Jones. But look, the Music Fiend comments, Phil No Dome Jones. Yeah, he ain't. Not only has he got no bones and he flops around like one of those freaking windsock people, but he also has no dome. He's got no brain in that old box of his. So he's had a mare there. And if that is true and that is what he said, then I'd like to say, do one Philbo. I would like to see him gone anyway. But look, if Ollie's seen that, he doesn't want to have that sort of a negative influence in the dressing room. It's only a joke, fair enough. He's only having a bit of a joke, whatever, only getting sacked in the morning. But it's not funny, mate. It's not funny at the moment. Mick DePaddy comments, blue in the face discussing the problems that were visible since last February. The club letting go of Lukaku without replacement is again one of the most ridiculous things the club has done. You're absolutely right. And getting rid of Ander Herrera without a replacement. You get rid of probably the most important midfielder we had in terms of just heart and spirit out there on the pitch and a bit of character. And Lukaku, somebody who scored 1 and 2 goals a game for us, which is not bad. You're getting rid of those two and you don't replace them. Of course, we're just expecting a bit of mediocre shite now, aren't we? Because we didn't get the players in. I mean, you're right. It's the most ridiculous thing not replacing Lukaku. You get rid of 2 experienced attackers, Alexis Sanchez and Lukaku, and you don't get a replacement in for a striker. And we've only got 3. And you could argue the 3 that we've got, they're just not good enough anyway. I mean, no disrespect to Greenwood, he's young. I'm not saying anything about him. He's looked great, but he's 17. Rashford, he's had a few seasons in the top flight now for United. He needs to start doing better. He's 21. Okay, he's young, but he's got to do better. Martial is out injured again now. I mean, it's a big if he's going to be able to score 20 goals for us this season as well. So the fact we didn't get another striker, and I agree with you, it's a freaking absolute calamity and one of the worst decisions that was made during the summer. RF comments, we're a complete mess, but I'm not sure we can get any worse. Sponsors and suppliers won't allow it and will pressure the club to change. Yep, you make an interesting point, but United are still able to create all of these commercial deals with the huge fan base and global brand that we are, because we've got a huge reach. Hundreds of millions of people support and follow and know of Manchester United globally. So even if we are having a mare, even if we're finishing 6th every single year, the Glazers can still service the debt. They can still milk the fans for all the merchandise. They can still get the TV deal money. They can still stick the brand on noodles and get the money in for commercial deals and projects and get Chevrolet and, all these sorts of stuff they can still do. I know there's like Chevrolet, I think, and some of the deals are dependent on Champions League football, whether we get a bonus and things like that. So yeah, it's in their best interest to get top 4 and improve and put the club in a situation to make more money, and so they can get a higher level of sponsors and please the sponsors, and that is all true. But I think that only really becomes a problem when we're getting outside of the top 6, which even this season I expect us to finish in the top 6. I still think we've got a squad enough. There's probably the 6th best squad in the league, like I've said it before, and that is a disgrace. But thank you very much for your comment there. We've got a comment from Stjern Kilda, who comments, Rashi's great skill. Are you a Norwegian, Stjern? I'd love to know. It sounds like a Norwegian name to me. Great to have you in here supporting Ole Gunnar, I hope. Anyway, he comments, Rashi's great skill is walking a keepy-ups at the same time. If you can spot any other skill on the match day, please send a self-addressed envelope to the pig. Thank you very much there, Stjerna. Much appreciated for your comment. And, look, he does have some skill. I think he can play a pass. I think he can take a man on. I think he's looked better in a wide position for United over the last few months. And I think that's where his strengths lie. In terms of finishing, in terms of being a clinical finisher and having that natural sort of instinct to just stick the ball in the back of the net, I don't think he's quite got that. So I don't think he's right for a finisher, but I don't think Ole's been using him correctly. We should have had Greenwood come in to deputise for Martial, not Rashford, because Rashford looks better out wide. He's still got a future ahead of him, he's 21. Give him some time. But yeah, I mean, in terms of a striker, he just doesn't seem to have it. The movement's not quite there. The killer instinct is not there. The natural instinct's not there. You look at that opportunity, that one-on-one, where he's clean through one-on-one with, Fabianski in the game yesterday, and he's clueless to what to do. I don't know what he's doing. He's stuck in two minds. He's waiting for someone. Nobody's coming. He's being closed down. Somebody a lot more clinical would have just had a pop there. And it comes, of course, form is a part of it. If you're in bad form, you can't expect to really be banging in the goals. And when you're in good form, you can just touch things and they go in. That's also true. But he's in bad form, and just to me, doesn't seem like he's got the natural finishing ability. It's crazy. I mean, I remember people like Wayne Rooney, who do have natural ability like that. When you see he gets a half chance, he just has a pop. He's got an eye for goal, that lad. It may be not even a half a chance. It might be a tenth of a chance or a quarter of a chance, but he's confident taking it on. And I don't see Rashford having that, really. Just look at Rooney's halfway line volley. Last time out, we played against West Ham back in the day when he scored that halfway line volley. Rashford never score a goal like that in his bloody life, will he? Let's be real. And I'm not saying that means you're a good striker if you score a goal like that. But you know what I'm saying. I'm saying he's lacking that finishing instinct, that natural ability in that position. Andre VC comments, please discuss Liverpool, please. Liverpool top. No, I've discussed Liverpool. I said they're good. I said they're doing well, okay? Stop milking it, okay? Enjoy it while it lasts. You still haven't won a Premier League. So there you go. Win the Premier League title, then come and talk to me, buddy. Anyway, thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. I am actually going to wrap this one up because I can't believe we've hit the hour mark. So we've been talking COD for an hour here. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned into the channel today. Do us a favour, smash a cheeky little like on this video, subscribe to the channel, give it a share on social media if you could, that'd be much appreciated. And keep a lookout for much more upcoming content on the channel all week. They'll be doing all sorts this week. Of course, Pig the Hen Show on Wednesday. There'll be someone on the channel tomorrow for you guys as well, so do keep a lookout for that. Everybody who sent comments in, if I've not read them out, I apologise. Come back once this is finished. Get them in the comments section, in the not live comments. I'll respond in due course. And thank you to everybody who's super chatted as well. Thank you to moderators, Alex Rudd, Rinconator, all you guys, everybody who's watched this video. Thanks so much for tuning in today. You're a bunch of legends. That's just the way it is with United at the moment. To sum up, Ollie needs a bit of time, I think. It was an absolute shite show at the weekend, though. Let me know what you guys think about it. Have yourselves a bloody good one. Alex Rudd comments super chat. I better just, if I've missed a super chat out, I better read it. Okay, yeah, sorry, Alex. I did miss your super chat. He comments, next week it's on. He's obviously an Arsenal fan. Thanks for moderating, Rudd. We will give you a game, hopefully. I mean, the only thing is, it's like, who's the biggest melt job at the moment? That is, mine and Henry's melter of the moment that we do the segment on the Pig and the Hen Show. This is it actually playing out in the Premier League. Who's the biggest melter of the moment trophy? Look, and I know Arsenal won at the weekend and yada, yada, yada. They're currently fourth in the league, but they're just a little bit ropey, Alex. And I know you're going to talk a big game and say you're going to win, but, you might not. United could get the job done. We shall see, but I'm looking forward to it. No, I'm not, actually. I mean, I should be looking forward to it, but I'm not really looking forward to it. That's what it's like being a United fan at the moment. It's sort of just dreary. A dreary anticipation instead of an excitement at the moment. But there we have it. Thank you very much for your comment. Thanks to everybody for getting in there. You're a bunch of legends. Have yourselves a good one. Like, subscribe, comment. Follow me on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD. Honestly, though, if you've tuned in, I can see there's actually 128 legends or whatever tuning in right now. Thanks so much for stopping by on the channel today. I'll see you soon. This is the Pig. You've been watching Flying Pig United. Take it easy. Have yourselves a good one. And bloody come on, United. Sort your freaking lives out, you absolute bunch of waste of space.